The Metro in mourning today as we remember the Independence police officer who died in the line of duty yesterday. Officer Blaze Madrid Evans was just 22 years old, had graduated from the police academy just 2 months ago. The suspected shooter also died. Happened around 11:30 a.m. yesterday when police went to a house in Independence after receiving a tip that a person in the area was potentially wanted. They came across a man who fired at the officers and hit Officer Madrid Evans. A second officer then shot back, killing the man. Madrid Evans was taken to the hospital and then died just before 11 last night. Now, KCTV5 stands for you. We have team coverage for you this afternoon as we look closer at what now comes next. We're finding out more about who Officer Madrid Evans was. Our Greg Payne is in Independence with the fundraising effort to help the officer's family. But first, we go to our Nathan Vickers, is in the officer's hometown of Smithville, where the schools and the businesses there in town are remembering him as a kind-hearted young man with a bright future. Nathan, I understand many in the area knew him quite well.
Yeah, Carolyn, he's really a hometown kid, and to the staff here at Chops Barbecue in Smithville, he really was like family. They say that this was one of his first jobs, and they shared a lot of great memories with him while he was here.
Definitely a somber tone around here. He was a good friend.
Dan Uladol will always remember the young man who walked into Chops Barbecue one day looking for a job.
Started in the kitchen for quite a while there. He was one of my #1 guys working the line.
Blaze Madrid Evans worked for Uladol as he was finishing up school at Northland Caps. He even helped out with barbecue competitions like the American Royal. Uladol says the young man had always talked about a career in public service.
I was proud of him, and I knew he was going to do well. Whatever he wanted to do, he was going to be the best he could be at it.
Uladol himself is a former KCPD officer. He says he thought of Blaze as family.
It hurts to have a loss like this. I was in law enforcement for a long time, and I never lost a direct friend like this.
Uladol and his wife both found out through police contacts that Blaze had been shot yesterday. He says they've spent today reflecting on a young man who was taken too soon.
People need to know that this is far-reaching. He impacted a lot of people.
Coming up at 6, we talked to some of Blaze's teachers and some of the school faculty here in Smithville. We'll share with you some of their stories as well. Reporting live, Nathan Vickers, KCTV5 News.
All right, thank you, Nathan. And here's a look at the memorial that's growing outside of the Independence Police Department. I want to go out now to our Greg Payne. He is live at the Independence Police Department. And Greg, have you seen people showing up there throughout the day, showing their support?
Yeah, Carolyn, as you can expect, it's been a pretty somber mood here in front of the Independence Police Department, and we've seen a couple of people actually walk over to where those flags are located, and they've laid down some flowers. Now, kind of surrounding the police department, you'll see trees and poles with ribbons like that, blue ribbons in support, but the support doesn't just end in Independence.
Try to raise as much money as we can in a short period of time that we can for his family.
That's the mission, as Brad Lemon, the president of the Kansas City Fraternal Order of Police, and his group work to lend a helping hand in honor of 22-year-old Blaze Madrid Evans, who died last night.
Yesterday morning they had a son. Today they don't. So, you know, I've said this before, when the lights go off is when it's the worst for us. You know, when you're laying there in bed and you don't have a phone in your hand or a phone call ringing or a TV on or something else to, you know, get your attention. This is the worst part.
Over the years, Lemon has seen members of his law enforcement family fall. Some he's known and others like Blaze he's never met. But he says now more than ever is the time to step up and assist. In the past, the FOP held bowling events to support officers, including those injured or killed across the metro. Saturday, the FOP is holding a cornhole event. Proceeds will go towards Madrid Evans' family.
I can't even imagine what Independence is going through at this point. I mean, you know, that family's gone through some hell, and, you know, this is just tough for them.
That cornhole event is this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Sandbox in Kansas City, or if you'd like to donate now, you can do so at cornholekc.com. And speaking with Lemon, he had mentioned that he just hopes that there is going to be the same amount of support, because normally when they have these fundraisers, there is a lot of support. He just hopes, just because it's been such a quick turnaround, he hopes that it will be the same type of turnout that they've seen in the past. Reporting live here in Independence, I'm Greg Payne for KCTV5 News.
Greg, thank you. And we are learning more about the suspect as well, who police say shot and killed Officer Madrid Evans. 33-year-old Cody Harrison was a convicted felon who was recently arrested with a handgun. Even though he was on parole and faced new charges, he remained on the street and missed his court hearings. Our investigative reporter, Angie Racona, will have a full report on Harrison's background coming up in our next half hour. That's at 5 o'clock. Also coming up at 5, Independence Mayor Eileen Weir and the police department will offer an update for us. KCTV5 will be there. We'll break in with that as soon as they get underway. Now, earlier, Mayor Weir also posted a statement, along with many other local leaders. She says, in part, our hearts are heavy today as we mark the loss of one of our own. Officer Madrid Evans died protecting our community, and that sacrifice cannot and will not be overlooked. Missouri Governor Mike Parsons said, quoting here, if there was ever a time to stand up for law enforcement, now is the time. They remain the frontline response for Missourians, and we must support them and give them the respect they deserve. We honor Officer Madrid Evans and are eternally grateful for his service and sacrifice. And Missouri Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler says, quoting here again, please join me in praying for Independence Police Officer Blaze Madrid Evans and his family. This was the first time the Independence Police Department has lost an officer in the line of duty in 20 years, end quote. Now, that last officer was killed in the Independence line of duty was Terry Foster. That was back in '01. He was killed while responding to a domestic disturbance call. KCTV5 will continue to follow this story and how the Independence community is continuing to honor this fallen officer. So make sure to download our news app. We'll push out any new information about memorial events and funeral plans as soon as we learn more.